What's up, everybody? It's been a minute. So today we'll be talking about why it's time to change. We waste a lot of time wishing and hoping for things in life in general. You know what I'm saying? Every day we make choices and decisions, and usually they lead us to do things that make us feel comfortable and don't necessarily lead us to advance or to move on or to grow and change, right? And every day that we live is a gift. So we should use those opportunities and seize those opportunities to make advances in our lives and to take ourselves to better places, or if anything, just to grow and grow with God and grow in our relationship with God and other people. A lot of little choices we make, just like waking up. What do you do first? Do you read your Bible? Do you go on TikTok? Having conversation with other people? Do you talk about gossip and meaningless things, or are you guys having valuable conversations? Just things that can take up a lot of your time that could be wasted when you should be absorbing knowledge, reading, watching a podcast. We have so many things at our hands, bro. Like the internet can literally, you can learn anything whenever you want. And a lot of the time we're just wasting because we want to be comfortable. We want to feel comfortable. And some people, in the community, Christians or just believers, will say, "Oh, I'm waiting on God. I'm waiting on God to do this. I'm waiting on God to show up." But you're not waiting on God. You're testing God. You're lacking faith, right? You're waiting for God to stand in front of you, and that's not going to happen. You're waiting for God to put a shiny path in front of you and say, "Come on, let's go here." And that's not what's going to happen. What you have to do is take a step by faith. And when you're in your word and when you're close to God, His light will lead your steps. So I have a verse for that, Psalm 119, 105. Your word is a lamp to guide my feet and a light for my path. So when you stay in God's truth, His word, right? He is guiding your steps, and each step is preparation for the next step, and the next step, and the next step, until you're where He wants you to be. But all that has to do with making choices according to His will and not your own. And that's hard to do because it's hard to give up what I want to do every day. It's hard to submit to God. It's easy to do what is comfortable for me. And there's times where, myself is like, man, I don't feel like doing that. Like, I just want to relax right now. And we take our foot off the gas, and eventually, you know, 6 months later, what have we done? We haven't moved. We haven't grown. We haven't learned. We haven't got closer to God. What have we been doing? Nothing. We're stagnant. And really, it's impossible to be stagnant because you're either getting better or worse, right? So, what are you doing? What are you choosing to do with your time? So when we start taking these steps, right, and we're trying to get closer to God, or we're trying to find our way, or we're trying new things that have been on our heart, we expect it. I'm talking about we as myself as well. Just like starting things like YouTube or whatever, we expect it to be easy, or we expect an initial outcome that, oh, I'm gonna get 5K subscribers initially, but it's like, dog, you got to put in the work. You got to put in the work. It feels easy. Everybody would do it. It feels easy. You wouldn't have to have faith in God. You just be like, yeah, I'm doing this on my own. But when you have to continually grind and wake up and try it and do it again, it fails, but I'm gonna keep trying it. You know what I'm saying? Back and forth. It requires some faith. So this is this is the testing that God puts us through for a reason. And it feels uncomfortable, right? It's like, what is a little butterfly? You get in these situations where you know there's things you don't necessarily want to do, or you weren't hoping about a situation, but you have to push through it. But when has healing ever not been painful, right? Like if you get stitches, it hurts, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? You pour hydrogen peroxide on a wound, it burns, it stings. Or you're doing rehab and it's uncomfortable. All of those things are for a greater purpose, but they hurt initially. So we have to understand that when we're being tested or when we're being tried, it's really for our faith. And it's really for God to understand, okay, this one really believes in me. This one right here, yeah, he's faithful. This is my servant right here. So that is how God looks at it. He's testing your faith. If he just handed the world to you, why would you need to believe in him? So when you're trying to figure out your own path and plan, there's no need to compare it to others, right? God has given us all a gift of uniqueness, which is awesome. Nobody can say they're me. Nobody can say they're you. Nobody can do exactly what you do and think how you think because you are yourself. You are a unique creature. Obviously, we're all humans, but we're all different. We all like different things. We all talk different ways. And it's beautiful, really. That's what makes us all special. So there's no need to hope and to wish that you were like someone else, or to hope and wish that you're in a different situation, or to hope and wish that when you do this, it's going to be perfect, or you had these things to, you had this perfect camera to start YouTube, or I would never start it. I'm just using my phone. Like, you got to make do with what you have, because you have to understand that God has called you specifically. He didn't call me to do what he called you to do. You know what I'm saying? He ain't called LeBron to do what he called you to do. Like, you are special for a reason, and God has called you to do something that no one else in this world has been called to do. It's a unique gift and path that he has given you. There's a verse in First Peter 4. 1 Peter 4:10. God has given each of you a gift from his great variety of spiritual gifts. Use them well to serve one another. So God has given you a gift that's special to you, right? And you're supposed to use it to serve others. So whatever whatever you feel like your nick is, or what's been on your heart to do and start, and you've been thinking, man, I don't know, I'm kind of scared what other people gonna think if I do that, if I post that video. Kind of scared what they're gonna think if I step out talking about God, or if I just, go do something that my heart wants to do because of judgment or because comparison. You're always gonna sit in your box. You know what I'm saying? If you care what everybody thinks, you don't want to offend anybody. When would you ever speak or move? You wouldn't. You'd be still and stagnant. So have faith in the way that God can intercede when you start walking on the path, when you start walk according to his will. Because that's what waiting on God really is. You're waiting on him to intercede and show up in places where you know you don't have the control, but he does. But what you do have control over are these 2 feet right here and these 2 hands. So go make a move and push in the direction that you believe God has called you to do. And I promise you, he will intercede. I promise you. I'm a testament to that. Doing this in general, I've seen, former friends and people I grew up with text me or reach out and just tell me how encouraging this is. And that is the biggest blessing of it all. Like, that's what makes me feel in my heart like, okay, God, this is amazing. I need to keep going, because I see the way that he's touching y'all. And it's not because of me. It's just because of my yes, but it's really because of God. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing I could do without God. So the way that he has spoken to me, I'm just speaking to y'all. And it's been so encouraging to hear the testimonies, or just to hear you guys want to draw near. Um, it's honestly been amazing. So my encouragement for everyone is to take your step of faith. Get out of hiding, get out of being stagnant, get out of being comfortable. Go do things that have been on your heart, that will be uncomfortable, that will be scary. But ultimately, the faith that you have in God should supersede those fears. You know how many times God tells us not to fear? And it's for a reason, because he knows he knows how we work. He knows how we think, man. He created us. He knows how much of a hole that can be, and how an enemy can use that against us, and that can cause us to be still. You know how powerful that is to the enemy? If he can get inside your mind and force you not to move, and force you not to serve, not to impact anyone else, and just stay in your box. He's like, yeah, I got him. Because now he's not doing God's work. But as soon as you take that step, enemy starts shaking. Whoa, where is he going? Why is he doing that? And you like, man, I got the power of God. I have faith. My steps are ordered. God's light is leading my path. That's what we all need to do. So call on God, ask him, God, where do you want me to go? Where do you want me to be? And put actions toward those things. In James 2, he talks about putting, putting works behind your faith, good deeds. Faith without good deeds is dead, right? If I say, man, I hope this homeless person gets somewhere to go, or I hope they get some food today. I pray they get some food today. And I walk away knowing I have $20 in my pocket, and I can go buy them a meal and have a conversation with them that's meaningful and loving and caring. I don't really have faith. I'm just talking about it. I'm just talking about it. And that's worthless at the end of the day. Because you don't really believe in what you're saying if you don't even want to take action and do it. Just talking to talk at the end of the day. This was just my encouragement for y'all. Like, every single person is unique, and we fall into fear because we compare ourselves to others, or what others have in other situations, when nobody has what you have. Nobody has the gift of uniqueness that you have. Nobody can do the things that God has called you to do in your path. So so don't compare, don't fear, don't sit back. put your faith in God, grow closer to God, and I promise you, once you start taking steps on the path, you're gonna see like, man, this dude is blessing me. This dude is blessing me. I'm telling you, I've been thanking God so much. Like it's overwhelming because it's like you start to see things in a different way. You start to understand like the way that He has intervened and placed certain people and certain times and certain places. Like just being at this school in general, it's been a blessing. So I hope you all get encouragement from that. And it's time for y'all to change. It's time for me to change. It's time for everybody to step up and do what God has called us to do and stop sitting back in fear because that's what the devil wants us to do. So I pray that you're blessed by this and you're encouraged. Thank you for taking out time out of your day to watch this video. Please subscribe if you haven't, comment, whatever. Just show some love. I'm appreciative of everybody that watches and reach out to me. I'm just grateful. At the end of the day, I'm grateful. I'm blessed to be able to speak about this and to have this, this little platform. It's been cool. So thank y'all. Have a good rest of y'all day.